Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Rachel stared at her reflection in the bedroom mirror, feeling the all-too-familiar pang of discomfort as her eyes traced the masculine angles of her face and body. She ran a hand over her flat chest, suppressing a sigh. No matter how many times she tried to convince herself otherwise, Rachel knew deep down that the identity she presented to the world was a mask, a facade that concealed her true self. For as long as she could remember, Rachel had grappled with the constant, gnawing sense that her gender assigned at birth didn't align with who she was inside. It was like an itch she couldn't scratch, a puzzle piece that stubbornly refused to fit into place. In quiet moments of introspection, Rachel acknowledged the truth she'd been running from. She was a woman trapped in a body that felt foreign and wrong. Turning away from the mirror, Rachel flopped onto her bed, mind racing. She knew transitioning was the key to unlocking her authentic self and finding peace, but the enormity of the journey ahead filled her with trepidation. Where would she even begin? Hormones? Surgery? The options seemed overwhelming, each path fraught with its own set of challenges and uncertainties. As Rachel lay there, lost in thought, a memory surfaced, a fleeting image of a woman gracefully adjusting her bra strap beneath a form-fitting blouse. The simple feminine gesture had struck a chord within Rachel, igniting a spark of yearning. She recalled the way the woman exuded confidence and ease in her own skin, and Rachel ached to experience that same sense of alignment between her inner and outer selves. An idea began to take shape in Rachel's mind. Perhaps a bra could be her first step towards embracing her femininity. She imagined the soft fabric cradling her chest, the delicate straps resting on her shoulders like a tangible affirmation of her womanhood. The thought both thrilled and terrified her. Rachel sat up, heart pounding. She reached for her phone and began scrolling through online shopping sites, her finger hovering hesitantly over images of lacy bralettes and smooth t-shirt bras. The sheer variety was dizzying. Push-up, demi-cup, wireless. The list went on. How was she supposed to know what would fit, what would feel right against her skin? Doubt crept in, insidious whispers echoing in Rachel's mind. What if someone saw her browsing the women's intimates section? Would they judge her, mock her, or worse? The fear of ridicule, of having her deepest truth exposed before she was ready, made Rachel's finger tremble above the Add to Cart button. Frustrated, Rachel tossed her phone aside. She couldn't do this alone. She needed someone to confide in, someone who would understand and support her. Biting her lip, Rachel thought of her best friend, Sophie. They'd known each other since childhood, weathering countless ups and downs together. If anyone would accept Rachel unconditionally, it was Sophie. Steeling herself, Rachel picked up her phone again and typed out a message. "Hey, Soph, can we talk? There's something important I need to share with you." Her thumb hovered over the send button for a long moment before she finally pressed down, releasing a shaky breath. Minutes ticked by, each second an eternity as Rachel waited for a response. When her phone finally buzzed with an incoming call from Sophie, she nearly jumped out of her skin. With trembling hands, Rachel accepted the call. "What's going on? Are you okay?" Sophie's voice was laced with concern. Rachel swallowed hard, her mouth suddenly dry. I don't know how to say this, Soph. I've been keeping something from you, from everyone. I'm transgender. I know I was born male, but I've always felt like a woman inside, and I want to start transitioning, but I'm scared, and I don't know where to begin, and—" The words tumbled out in a rush, tripping over each other in Rachel's haste to unburden herself. There was a beat of silence on the other end of the line. Rachel's heart hammered against her ribs, bracing for the worst. Then Sophie's voice came through, gentle and unwavering. "Oh, Rachel, thank you for trusting me with this. I'm here for you. Always. We'll figure this out, okay?" Relief and gratitude flooding through her. She nodded, forgetting for a moment that Sophie couldn't see her. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "I don't know what I'd do without you." "Hey, that's what best friends are for," Sophie said, and Rachel could hear the smile in her voice. "Now, tell me, what's the first step you want me to help you with? Also, what name do you prefer?" Rachel hesitated, then took a deep breath. "Please, call me Rachel, and, I think I want to buy a bra. It seems silly, but I feel like it would help me feel more feminine, more like myself. But I'm terrified of going into a store and having people stare at me or judge me." "I completely understand, Rachel," Sophie winked. "But listen, you have every right to buy whatever makes you feel comfortable and confident in your own body. How about this? I'll come with you to the mall this weekend. We can go to a department store, somewhere with a wide selection, and I'll be right by your side the whole time. If anyone gives you trouble, they'll have to go through me first." A wobbly smile tugged at Rachel's lips, her heart swelling with affection for her friend. "You'd really do that for me?"
"Of course I would. I've got your back, Rach, no matter what. You're not alone in this."
They talked for a while longer, Sophie's steady presence and words of encouragement a balm to Rachel's frayed nerves. By the time they hung up, Rachel felt a sense of determination within her. She could do this. She would do this. The weekend arrived, and with it, a flurry of nervous anticipation in Rachel's gut. She stood before her mirror once more, this time clad in her most gender-neutral outfit, a baggy sweatshirt and loose-fitting jeans. It wasn't perfect, but it would have to do for now. Sophie met her at the mall entrance, greeting her with a tight hug and a reassuring smile. Hand in hand, they navigated the bustling crowds, Rachel's grip tightening every time she felt the weight of curious stares on her back. Sophie kept up a steady stream of light-hearted chatter, her presence a lighthouse guiding Rachel through the choppy waters of her anxiety. Finally, they reached the intimate apparel section of the department store. Rachel's steps faltered as she took in the endless racks of bras in every color and style imaginable. Sensing her hesitation, Sophie gave her hand a gentle squeeze. "Take your time. I'm right here." Rachel took a deep breath and stepped forward, running her fingertips over the delicate lace and smooth satin. She marveled at the softness, the intricacy of the designs. For the first time, surrounded by these emblems of femininity, Rachel felt a glimmer of belonging. With Sophie's help, Rachel selected a few bras to try on. She held them almost reverently as they made their way to the fitting rooms. Sophie stood guard outside the stall, a fierce protector ready to deflect any unwanted attention. Behind the closed door, Rachel shed her sweatshirt with shaking hands. She unclasped the first bra, a simple, pale pink t-shirt style, and slipped it on, fumbling a bit with the unfamiliar hooks. When she finally got it settled, she turned to face the mirror and froze. There, reflected back at her, was a glimpse of the woman she'd always known herself to be. The bra hugged her chest, creating the illusion of soft curves where before there had been only hard planes. Rachel ran a hand over the smooth fabric, tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. For the first time in her life, she felt a flicker of alignment between her body and her soul. A soft knock at the door startled her from her reverie. "Rach, everything okay in there?" Sophie's voice was gentle, tinged with concern. Rachel hastily wiped at her eyes, a watery smile spreading across her face. "Yeah, Soph, everything's perfect." She opened the door and stepped out, standing tall despite the butterflies in her stomach. Sophie's eyes widened, then softened with understanding. "Oh, Rachel, you look beautiful. How do you feel?" "I feel right, like I'm finally seeing a piece of my true self in the mirror." Rachel's voice wavered, thick with emotion. Rachel and Sophie spent the next hour in the fitting room, Rachel trying on bra after bra, each one a new exploration of her femininity. Some were too tight, others too loose, but with each clasp and adjustment, Rachel felt herself growing more comfortable in her own skin. As she slipped on a pale blue balconette bra, Rachel couldn't help but gasp. The delicate lace lay smooth against her skin, the cups gently cradling her chest in a way that felt both natural and feminine. She turned to the mirror, admiring the way the bra accentuated her subtle curves, creating a silhouette that made her heart flutter with joy. "Soph, I think this is the one," Rachel breathed, unable to tear her eyes away from her reflection. Sophie peeked her head in, a grin spreading across her face as she took in the sight of her friend. "Rach, you look stunning. That bra was made for you." Rachel ran her fingertips over the intricate lace, marveling at the way it made her feel. For the first time in her life, she felt a sense of harmony between her physical form and her inner self. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes, but for once they were tears of happiness, of relief. With a newfound confidence, Rachel changed back into her clothes, carefully folding the blue bra and adding it to the small pile of keepers. She gathered up the rejects, her heart light with the knowledge that she had found something that made her feel beautiful, that validated her identity in a way she had never experienced before. As they made their way to the checkout counter, Rachel's steps faltered. The reality of wearing her new bra out in public, of taking this tangible step towards embracing her true self, suddenly felt daunting. Sophie, ever attuned to her friend's emotions, placed a gentle hand on Rachel's arm. "Hey, you've got this. Remember, you're not alone. I'm here with you, every step of the way." Rachel drew in a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. She knew Sophie was right. This was a milestone, a moment of courage and self-acceptance. With a determined nod, she approached the counter and placed her purchases down, her hand trembling only slightly as she handed over her credit card. The cashier, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes, smiled warmly at Rachel as she rang up the bras. "These are lovely choices, dear. I'm sure they'll look beautiful on you." Rachel felt a blush creep into her cheeks, a mix of nerves and gratitude. "Thank you," she murmured, ducking her head shyly. As they exited the store, Rachel clutched the shopping bag close to her chest, the weight of her new bras a comforting presence against her heart. Sophie linked their arms together, a silent show of support and solidarity. "Proud of you, Rach," she said softly, giving Rachel's arm a gentle squeeze. Rachel leaned into her friend. "Thank you, Soph, for everything. I couldn't have done this without you." As they strolled through the mall, the weight of the shopping bag in Rachel's hand served as a tangible reminder of the milestone she had just achieved. The bras, nestled within the tissue paper, represented a small but significant step towards embracing her true self. Rachel couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation at the thought of the journey that lay ahead. Sophie, ever the supportive friend, sensed Rachel's shifting emotions. With a gentle nudge, she suggested, "Hey, why don't we grab a bite to eat? I don't know about you, but I'm starving." Rachel nodded, grateful for the distraction. "Yeah, that sounds good. I could use a moment to process all of this." They made their way to the food court, the aroma of various cuisines mingling in the air. Sophie pointed to a cozy-looking cafe in the corner, its menu boasting an array of sandwiches and pastries. "How about there? I've heard their paninis are to die for." Rachel agreed, and they joined the line, the buzz of conversation and clatter of dishes enveloping them. As they waited, Sophie turned to Rachel, her expression softening. "I just wanted to say, Rach, I'm really proud of you. What you did today, buying those bras, that took a lot of courage." Rachel ducked her head, a shy smile playing on her lips. "I couldn't have done it without you, Soph. Having you by my side, it made all the difference." Sophie reached out and gave Rachel's hand a reassuring squeeze. "I'll always be here for you no matter what. You're my best friend, and I want to support you in any way I can." The sincerity in Sophie's words brought a lump to Rachel's throat. She swallowed hard, blinking back the sudden sting of tears. "Thank you. That means more to me than you could ever know." Their turn at the counter came, and they placed their orders, a caprese panini for Sophie, and a turkey and avocado sandwich for Rachel. As they waited for their food, Rachel's mind wandered to the future, to the countless decisions and challenges that lay ahead on her journey of self-discovery. Sophie, as if reading her thoughts, spoke up. "You know, Rach, today was a big step, but it's just the beginning. There's so much more to explore, so many ways to express your femininity. Have you given any thought to what you might want to try next?" Rachel bit her lip, considering. I'm not sure. I mean, the bras were a start, but I know there's more to it than that. Clothes, makeup, maybe even hormones? It's all a bit overwhelming." Sophie nodded, her expression thoughtful. "I can only imagine. But remember, you don't have to figure it all out at once. You can take it one step at a time at your own pace. And I'll be here to support you, every step of the way." Their sandwiches arrived, and they found a quiet table in the corner of the cafe. As they ate, Sophie's eyes lit up with an idea. "Hey, I know. After we finish eating, why don't we do a little clothes shopping? Nothing too crazy. Just a few simple pieces to help you start building a wardrobe that feels more authentic to you. What do you say?" Rachel nearly choked on her sandwich, caught off guard by the suggestion. I don't know, Soph. What if people stare?" Sophie reached across the table and took Rachel's hand in hers. "Rach, listen to me. You have every right to wear whatever makes you feel comfortable and confident in your own skin. And if anyone gives you trouble, they'll have to go through me first. I've got your back, always." Rachel drew in a shaky breath. She thought of the bra in her shopping bag, of the way they had made her feel, feminine, authentic, alive. If a simple piece of lingerie could evoke such a profound sense of rightness, what other discoveries awaited her in the realm of fashion? "Okay," Rachel said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Let's do it." Sophie beamed, her excitement palpable. "Yes! Oh, Rach, this is going to be so much fun. I know just the store to start with. They have a great selection of basics, perfect for building a foundation wardrobe." They finished their sandwiches, chatting and laughing, the earlier tension melting away in the face of Sophie's infectious enthusiasm. As they gathered their belongings and made their way out of the cafe, Rachel felt a flicker of anticipation in her chest. The store Sophie had in mind was a trendy boutique, its display windows showcasing an array of colorful sundresses and flowy blouses. Rachel hesitated at the entrance, her nerves getting the better of her. Sophie, sensing her friend's apprehension, looped her arm through Rachel's and gave her a reassuring smile. With a deep breath, Rachel stepped over the threshold, the cool air of the boutique washing over her skin. The store was a kaleidoscope of colors and textures, racks upon racks of clothing beckoning to her. For a moment, she felt overwhelmed, unsure of where to begin. Sophie, ever the intuitive friend, seemed to read her mind. "Why don't we start with something simple, like a cute top or a pair of leggings, something that feels comfortable and easy to wear?" Rachel nodded, grateful for Sophie's guidance. They began to browse the racks, Sophie offering gentle suggestions and encouragement as they went. Rachel's fingers trailed over the soft fabrics, marveling at the delicate details, the lace trim on a camisole, the intricate embroidery on a blouse. As they moved deeper into the store, a particular item caught Rachel's eye. A flowy, pale blue sundress with a delicate floral print. It was the kind of dress she had always admired on other women, but had never dared to imagine herself wearing. Until now. With trembling hands, Rachel reached out and touched the fabric, its softness sending a shiver down her spine. Sophie noticed her interest and grinned. "That dress is gorgeous, Rach. Do you want to try it on?" Rachel hesitated, a mix of longing and fear swirling in her gut. The dress represented a leap, a bold declaration of her femininity. Was she ready for that? Sophie, sensing her friend's internal struggle, placed a gentle hand on Rachel's shoulder. "Hey, there's no pressure. If you're not comfortable trying it on, that's totally okay. We can find something else." Rachel drew in a shaky breath, then squared her shoulders. No, she wanted this. She needed this. With a determined nod, she plucked the dress from the rack and headed towards the fitting rooms, Sophie trailing behind with an armful of other potential outfits. Inside the fitting room, Rachel stripped down to her newly acquired bra and underwear, the ones she had so carefully selected with Sophie's help. With trembling hands, she slipped the sundress over her head, the soft fabric cascading over her body like a gentle caress. She turned to face the mirror and froze, hardly recognizing the person staring back at her. The dress hugged her slender frame, the delicate floral print complementing her pale skin. For the first time, Rachel saw a glimpse of the woman she had always known herself to be: feminine, graceful, beautiful. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes, a lump forming in her throat. She ran her hands over the skirt of the dress, marveling at the way it swished around her legs. In that moment, surrounded by the trappings of femininity, Rachel felt a profound sense of rightness, of alignment between her body and her soul. A soft knock at the door startled her from her reverie. "Rach, how's it going in there?" Sophie's voice was gentle, tinged with anticipation. Rachel took a deep breath and opened the door, stepping out into the main area of the fitting room. Sophie's eyes widened, a grin spreading across her face as she took in the sight of her friend.
Oh, Rachel, you look stunning. That dress was made for you.
Rachel ducked her head, a blush creeping into her cheeks. You really think so? I feel like myself, like I'm finally seeing the real me in the mirror. Sophie pulled Rachel into a tight hug, her voice thick with emotion. I'm so happy for you, Rach. You deserve to feel this way, to express yourself authentically, and I'm honored to be a part of your journey. They spent the next hour in the fitting room, Rachel trying on outfit after outfit, each one a new exploration of her femininity. Some pieces felt awkward or ill-fitting, but others, like the sundress, seemed to unlock something within her, a sense of joy, of liberation. As they left the store, Rachel's arms laden with shopping bags, she couldn't help but marvel at the transformation that had taken place within her. Just a few hours ago, she had been grappling with the weight of her identity, unsure of how to take the first steps towards living as her true self. But now, with Sophie by her side and a tangible representation of her femininity in her hands, Rachel felt a newfound sense of confidence and purpose. Sophie, as if reading her thoughts, looped her arm through Rachel's and gave her a gentle squeeze. Rach, today was a big day, but it's just the beginning. You have a beautiful journey ahead of you, and I can't wait to see the woman you'll become. Rachel leaned into her friend, a smile playing on her lips. Thank you, Soph, for everything. I couldn't have done this without you. As they walked through the mall, Rachel's heart felt lighter than it had in years. She knew the road ahead would be filled with challenges, with moments of doubt and fear. But she also knew that with Sophie by her side and with the strength of her own conviction, she could face anything. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.